What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. Over the weekend, we had two pretty big films. It was, I think, one of the biggest box office weekends in a very, very long time, with over 300 million in the domestic box office, from what I could tell. I think I remember a headline like that. But what the internet was really worried about was Ben Shapiro's over-the-top review of the Barbie movie, which was nearly 40 minutes in length. Had him go to the Barbie movie dressed up as Ken. Now, I admit I have some kind of conflicting feelings about essentially doing advertising for these movies in a way. But also, I think that there's still a balance there where you need to cover just how heinous they are, but also maybe not go so far to where you become a headline and help them sell tickets. Look, the Barbie movie won from Ben Shapiro doing this, and so did the Daily Wire. That's just the long and short of that. And I think in Ben's honor, I'll give you one of these. How do I do this? I'll try to do it in Ben's. Okay, have you heard about this? Biden's new budget proposes $4.7 trillion in new taxes. The same budget could push the debt from $31 trillion to a whopping $51 trillion. Could you imagine what that would do to our economy, your quality of life? That's why it's critical that you protect your savings with gold and silver before it's too late. I've partnered with the top-rated precious metals company, Goldco, because they're a great company with an amazing reputation. Right now, they're giving up to $10,000 in free silver while supplies last. Plus, all qualified callers this week will receive a free Ronald Reagan silver coin. And I love Ronald Reagan. We've had disastrous economic policies, never-ending war, skyrocketing inflation, bank failures, and now we've got new tax hikes to worry about. Visit quarteringgold.com to protect your life savings. That's quarteringgold.com, and tell them the Quartering sent you to get a free Ronald Reagan silver coin. Huh? Probably not fast enough. But anyway, the message was legit, so check out quarteringgold.com and see if, make sure you diversify and protect yourself. Ben Shapiro, 39, films himself torching Barbie dolls because he is manly and mad. Let me tell you a little something about, first of all, how the media is framing any and all criticism about the Barbie movie. This is very common when you criticize video games or animation that is targeted towards adults. Remember when, like, She-Ra, we got a lot of criticism. The common pushback from leftoids was that, oh, it's a kid's show. It is not a kid's show. They say this about Barbie. Why are grown men getting mad about Barbie? Angry Joe had some moronic take like that too. Bro, first of all, the Barbie movie is not targeted towards children. It is targeted towards middle-aged women. That's who it's targeted to. 10-year-old kids right now have no idea what Barbie is. Barbie is a long-gone relic of the past. Okay? Kids have iPads and iPhones at the age now. They don't need to use their imaginations. That's why many of these kids are so stupid and uncreative. That's why it's so easy to confuse them with bots. When I was a kid, I had plastic army men and off-brand, what were they called? Hot Wheels, but I didn't have Hot Wheels, right? Off-brand Hot Wheels and army. That was all I needed, okay, for hours and hours and hours, days and days and days and days. Now kids need iPads and constant stimulation through TikTok and YouTube Shorts and things of that nature. But anyway, I digress. The Barbie movie is not a kid's movie, okay? They're going to try to say that because people are criticizing it, but it is not. In order to prove how much he loathes Barbie, the right-wing troll pieced through his pages and pages of notes on the movie, which he apparently watched while dressed as Ken. Again, I agree, it's a little cringe. The thing with Ben is that I think he knows it's cringe. I mean, remember his Home Depot thing? Like, I don't think Ben Shapiro is stupid. I think he knows that it's cringe and that it's going to get these articles made by the Daily Beast. The point of confliction is that now this article exists on Daily Beast to run free advertising for the Barbie movie. It's a complicated thing. It's led me to a lot of kind of thinking about it this weekend, staring out at the sky, wondering, what is the right answer? To completely ignore it would be foolish. To go over the top and create more marketing for it, I think is too far. So I guess somewhere in between that. But obviously Ben Shapiro wins here, and so does the Barbie movie. In a wild 43-minute long tirade posted on YouTube, the 39-year-old conservative political commentator appeared to try and spark mass protests against a PG-13 rated film. So there you go, right there. It's not for kids. Shapiro begins by torching some Barbie dolls, then launches into a rant. He doesn't even really do it. It's pretty bad CG, right? Rant where he shames a trans woman cast as Barbie, then walks through his other criticisms, pages and pages of notes that he took about the film while watching it. Shapiro saw Barbie on Wednesday, though he hadn't officially made the connections. Social media users pointed out that he wore the same outfit Ken did wearing the movie. Of course he did. Of course he made those connections. Ben Shapiro was not stupid. I disagree with a lot of his opinions on certain things, but I won't call the guy stupid. That's just not correct. If you look at the audience, it's mostly moms. Shapiro recalls from the viewing experience, youngish moms, middle-aged moms with their kids. That's the entire crew. And let's not forget Shapiro himself, who was obviously in the audience. In the caption of the video, Shapiro whined that Barbie was one of the most woke movies I've ever seen. He goes on to explain in the video that he was upset by Ken's portrayal. Shapiro argues that Ken has become annoying and ridiculous, which contradicts the original Barbie dolls, original ones. Then Shapiro takes interest in Harry Neff's Barbie. Neff is a trans woman, biological man, plays a bubbly doctor in the film. What a coincidence. One of the Barbies is a trans Barbie, Shapiro says, and this is true, totally normal, as if it's a female Barbie with a voice deeper than my own. He also claimed that the film was explicitly designed to divide men from women, describing it as angry feminist claptrap that alienates men from women. Here's the thing with the Barbie movie, all right? I may or may not have watched it floating around the internet on the weekend. It's just a cringe girl power movie. It's cringe girl power. It is the very quintessential modern feminist film where women are both unstoppable girl bosses, but also so easily subjugated under the thumb of men. It is a holding two conflicting ideas in the same hand. That's why when you watch a movie like this, you're like, wait a minute. I thought they're unstoppable girl bosses. Why is it so easy for a man to just put them under their thumb? This is so weird. And that's essentially what keeps happening in the Barbie film. That's the message. Now, if you like musical numbers and things of that nature, fine. I think that a lot of the dunking, Ben Shapiro just uploaded a 43-minute YouTube video whining over a movie about Barbie dolls. This is gaslighting. It just is. It is an extremely relevant talking point for both conservative and liberal talking heads because it is a huge cultural moment because it's going to do very, very big numbers in the box office, at least the first week. Now, the general belief is that since it is in fact just unironically not a very good movie, it may flounder pretty heavily in week 2 at the box office. We saw it only did 10 million in China. So it's possible that it tanks. But I've got to be honest with you, Barbie is like such a cultural thing, such how do I say, like such an obvious, such a hard hitting. It's like if you grew up in the 80s or 90s, even the 70s, Barbie was just everywhere when you were a kid, boy or girl. Everyone knew what Barbies were. So, and Margot Robbie is a pretty inoffensive actress. People like Ryan Gosling. And so I think normies will go to this movie. I would not be surprised if it makes $1 billion. I'm dead serious. The IP is that big. The Super Mario movie, by the way, is another example of a movie that was pretty mid, but it still makes $1 billion because the film itself is just, the IP is just so massive. I'm not saying the Mario movie was bad, but it wasn't that great. It was okay. I didn't feel like, I wasted my time watching it, but I wasn't like, oh man, this is so sweet. There were a lot of member berries in it, but the Barbie movie was full of member berries. And I think that this is just genius marketing. What I thought was interesting is the movie had, when I saw his video come out, Daily Wire must have pumped a bunch of money into promoting the video. Because when I saw it come out, it had like, this is about right when I saw the screenshot, 50 minutes, 29,000 views. That's usually behind a little bit, but not that much. But then next time I saw it, it had 1 million views. I think that the movie itself, right wingers go on the attack. It's anti-man, feminist trash. Well, it is. I mean, it just is. But I think that when we allow ourselves, like people who fight back against this stuff, to be used to then market it, it sucks. You know what I mean? Like, TMZ didn't use one of my thumbnails. I'm gonna have to get on my thumbnail guy. He's gonna have to amp it up. The film is full of unironic mentions of the patriarchy, and it is, in fact, you see this man-hating trash. I think that's Shad there. Yep. But again, the box office itself for it, Barbie slammed by conservatives as man-hating woke propaganda amid box office success. Yeah, I mean, I never thought for 1 second that this movie wasn't going to make a ton of money. You'd have to be a disingenuous idiot to think that. Box office Barbie opens record-setting $155 million, while Oppenheimer shatters expectations with $80 million debut. I thought expectations were huge for Oppenheimer. That always reminds me of the Seinfeld episode when he's trying to remember the chick's lawyer. Then he's like saying it, and I think of like Oppenheimer and Tat, whatever. Anyway, that's an obscure reference. I think that you say this is unequivocally a great weekend for movie going. A guy who runs the consulting firm Franchise Entertainment Research, Barbie and Oppenheimer complement each other at the box office. It's actually genius because the wives could go see Oppenheimer with their daughters. I'm sorry, Barbie. And then the men had Mission Impossible to choose from, Oppenheimer to choose from. There are a couple action flicks for the dads. The cultural craze known as Barbenheimer worked to fuel the biggest collective box office of the post-Koof era, as well as the fourth biggest overall weekend in history. I mean, I think that you look at in the end, though, it wasn't a competition. Barbie loomed large with box office charts thanks to an incredible, inescapable marketing campaign. That's true. I tried to Google Barbie for stories this morning, and they're still doing it. The $145 million budgeted movie backed by Warner Brothers, I would say they probably spent, I don't know, more than double that on advertising. More than double. Usually you say, the budget's $200 million, so they spend another $200. I bet you they spent way more than that.